The golden child's empire crumbled, and I bought the ruins. They say that blood is thicker than water, but in my family, favoritism runs a whole lot deeper than both. My name is Caleb. I am 34 years old, and I live in a high-rise in downtown Seattle. It's a nice life, a life I built with blood, sweat, and a whole lot of being ignored. You see, I was the invisible son. My younger brother, Liam, he was the golden child. From the moment he let out his first cry, my parents, Marcy and Hank, decided that the sun rose and set on him. I remember being 10 years old. I had spent an entire summer mowing lawns in the blistering heat just to buy a specific mountain bike. It cost $250. When I finally brought it home, Liam, who was 7 at the time, threw a massive tantrum because he wanted one too. The next day, my dad didn't just buy him a bike. He bought him the professional grade carbon fiber model for $800. When I asked why I had to work for months while Liam got his for free, my mom just patted my head and said, "Oh, Caleb, you're so strong and independent. Liam just needs a little extra to feel special." That became the theme song of my entire life. Caleb is fine, but Liam needs us. By the time we reached high school, the gap was a canyon. I was pulling straight A's, staying late for robotics club, and working 20 hours a week at a local tech repair shop. Liam was the visionary. He spent his time partying, networking with the popular kids, and barely scraping by with a 2.2 GPA. Every time Liam got caught drinking or skipping class, my parents would rush to the school, blaming the stifling environment or the unfair teachers. But if I got a B+ on a calculus exam, it was a 30-minute lecture about how I was losing my focus. The real slap in the face came during college. I had worked my tail off to get into the University of Washington's computer science program. It's a tough school, and I'd earned a partial scholarship. I told my parents I'd live at home to save them money. I thought they'd be proud. Instead, my mother sat me down at the kitchen table with a look on her face, like she was about to deliver bad news. "Caleb," she said, "since you'll be making money with your little tech jobs, we've decided you need to pay us $1,000 a month for rent." I almost choked on my water. $1,000? Mom, I'm trying to save for tuition. My dad chimed in without looking up from his newspaper. "It's about responsibility, son. Besides, we need the extra cushion. We're sending Liam to a private liberal arts college in California. He needs the creative atmosphere to really find himself." So that was the deal. I worked 40 hours a week while taking 20 credits just to pay for my own childhood bedroom so my brother could find himself at a $40,000 a year beachside school. I didn't argue. I didn't complain. I just checked out. I realized right then that I wasn't a son to them. I was a revenue stream. Fast forward 10 years. I'm 34 now. I'm a senior software architect for a major cloud computing firm. I also started a side hustle a few years back developing security protocols for small businesses. It took off like a rocket. I was working 16-hour days for 3 years straight, but by 32, I was a millionaire. I never told them. Not a word. Whenever I'd go home for the holidays, I'd drive my old beat-up sedan and wear my oldest hoodies. I kept the conversation strictly on the weather. And honestly, they didn't even notice. They were too busy talking about Liam's latest business venture. Liam had become a professional failure. He tried to be an influencer. That flopped. He tried to open a bespoke vegan bistro. My parents mortgaged their house to fund it, and it closed in 6 months. Then he met Tiffany. Tiffany is a piece of work. She's the kind of woman who thinks a budget is something that happens to other people. She has designer bags, perfectly manicured nails, and a deep, burning desire to never, ever work a day in her life. They got married in a destination wedding that cost $60,000, which my parents somehow found the money for. Now they have 2 kids, and they're living in a cramped 2-bedroom apartment because Liam can't find a job that respects his creative vision. The big incident started 6 months ago. Word got out through a mutual friend that I was looking to buy property. The friend didn't know the details, just that I was in the market. The phone calls started that night. "Caleb, honey," my mom's voice was dripping with a sweetness I hadn't heard in years. "We heard the news. You're finally buying a house. We are so proud of you." "Thanks, Mom," I said cautiously. "I'm just looking around." "Well," she continued, "Liam and Tiffany were just saying how wonderful it would be if you got something with a bit of scale. You know, something with 5 or 6 bedrooms, maybe a finished basement." Tiffany was looking at listings on the lake. "She says the kids really need fresh air." I sat there in silence for a good 10 seconds. "Mom, why would I need a 6-bedroom house on the lake? I'm one person." "Oh, don't be silly," she laughed. "Your family. You'd want space for Liam and the kids to stay. And honestly, their apartment is so small, it's practically a health hazard. We thought if you bought the big house, we could all converge there. It would be the family estate. Converge." That was her word for moving in and never leaving. Over the next month, my inbox was flooded. Zillow links, Pinterest boards for nursery designs. Tiffany even sent me a message asking if I'd prefer a quartz or marble countertop in our kitchen. They had picked out a $1.5 million craftsman-style mansion. It had a guest house, a pool, and a view of the water. They had it all planned. Liam would have the guest house for his studio. My parents would take the master suite to help with the the kids. And I'd get the small room above the garage because, as my dad put it, you're never home. Anyway, Caleb, you're always working. The entitlement was breathtaking. I didn't say yes. I didn't say no. I just let them talk. I wanted to see just how far they would go. The breaking point was Thanksgiving. We were all at my parents' house. Liam was complaining about how the economy was suppressing his growth mindset. Tiffany was scrolling through furniture catalogs, pointing at $10,000 sofas. So, Caleb, Liam said, leaning back with a beer, when are we taking the tour? Tiffany wants to start measuring for curtains at the lake house. What lake house, Liam? I asked, cutting into my turkey. The one Mom sent you, the Craftsman. We told the landlord we're not renewing our lease next month. We're ready to move in as soon as you close. My fork stopped halfway to my mouth. You told your landlord you're moving out? Based on a house that I haven't even looked at? Well, yeah, Liam shrugged. You're the rich brother, right? It's about time you stepped up. Family is a team, Caleb. You're the one with the ball. You gotta pass it eventually. I looked at my parents. They were nodding, smiling, expecting me to just say okay. I bought a house last week, I said quietly. The table went silent. Tiffany dropped her catalog. You did? My mom gasped. Oh, Caleb, why didn't you tell us? Is it the one on the lake? Did you get the one with the pool? No, I said. I bought a 3-bedroom penthouse loft in the city. It's about 2,000 square feet. It has an office, a master bedroom, and a gym. A loft. Tiffany's voice was high-pitched and trembling. Where do the kids go? Where is our space? There isn't any, I said calmly. It's a loft. For me, it's 45 minutes from here. And the building has strict security. You need a key fob just to get into the elevator. The explosion was spectacular. My mother started crying, accusing me of betraying the family. My father stood up, slamming his hand on the table, calling me selfish and cold-hearted. But Liam was the worst. He got right in my face, his voice shaking with rage. You think you're better than us? You think because you sit behind a screen all day, you get to live like a king, while your own nephews are going to be homeless. They're not homeless, Liam, I said, standing up. They have a father. A father who has had every opportunity handed to him on a silver platter. If you're homeless, it's because you decided to stop paying rent before you had a place to go. That's not my problem. That's a growth mindset problem. I walked out that night. I blocked them all. For 3 months, it was bliss. I moved into my loft. I watched the sunset over the Space Needle. I worked in silence. But then the real world caught up with them. I got a call from my Uncle Peter, the only one in the family who isn't a total sycophant. Caleb, he said, it's bad. Your parents, they're losing the house. They took out a second and third mortgage to keep Liam afloat. And Liam, he got caught in some crypto consulting scam. He lost everything. Tiffany left him, took the kids to her mother's, and your parents are looking at foreclosure. I felt a twinge of something. Not guilt, but heavy sense of inevitability. A week later, they showed up at my office. Not my loft, my office. They must have looked it up. They looked terrible. My mother had aged 10 years. My father's suit was wrinkled and old. And Liam looked like a ghost. The golden child had finally turned to lead. Caleb, my father said, his voice cracking. We don't know where else to go. We're going to be on the street. My mother was sobbing. Please, Caleb, we were wrong. We should have appreciated you. Just help us. We'll do anything. I looked at them. I thought about the mountain bike. I thought about the $1,000 in rent I paid to my own parents. I thought about the family estate. And then I made them a deal. I won't give you a dime, I said. They looked devastated. But I continued. I just bought a small multi-family apartment building in the suburbs. It's an investment property. It needs a manager. And it needs a maintenance crew. I looked at Liam. Liam, you're going site. You're gonna be the on-site janitor. You'll clean the halls, take out the trash, and handle the repairs. You'll get a small 1-bedroom unit for free. But you'll work 40 hours a week. If you miss a day, you're evicted. I looked at my parents. Mom, Dad, you can live in the unit next to him, but you're gonna handle the books. Every cent that goes in and out of that building, you track it. And you'll pay me a reduced rent, exactly $1,000 a month, just like I paid you. The silence in that office was deafening. You want me to be a janitor? Liam whispered. I want you to have a job, Liam, I said. And I want my parents to understand what responsibility actually looks like. They took the deal. They didn't have a choice. It's been 6 months now. Liam is surprisingly a decent janitor. Turns out when your only other option is a park bench, you learn how to fix a leaky faucet pretty fast. He's lost the visionary attitude. He's tired. He's grumpy. But for the first time in his life, he's earning his keep. My parents, they're struggling. They hate paying me that rent. Every month when they hand over the check, my dad can't even look me in the eye. But they're doing it. They're finally living within their means. Tiffany, she came crawling back when she realized Liam had a roof over his head. But I made him sign a strict no guests for more than 3 days clause in his lease. If she wants to live there, she has to get a job too. Last I heard, she's working as a receptionist. Her nails aren't quite as perfect as they used to be. And me? I'm still in my loft. I'm still working. But every now and then I drive by that apartment building. I see my brother hauling trash bags to the curb. I see my parents sitting on a cheap porch, counting pennies. People say that I'm being cruel. They say I should just forgive them and buy them that big house. But they're wrong. I didn't destroy my family. I saved them. I gave them the only thing they ever actually needed, but were too golden to ever find on their own. I gave them reality. And honestly, it's the best investment I ever made.